Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. So it's 1st of June. So obviously we're going to have a bunch of updates from the miners for the production in May. So we got a Cipher, Digihost, along with Bitfarms providing that. We also have news from Cleanspark. They want another shopping spree. So we're going to take a look at what that entails. And then we'll also take a look at the markets, see how they perform. Bitcoin is down today, which is not a great start to the month of June. We'll look at the miners as well. They were kind of mixed a little bit, but Riot actually had a really good day today. So we'll look at all that. And then we'll also take a look at all the stats that I do have on it. So we'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. You guys will have the chapters down below. You guys can skip to the sections that you guys want to see. And then I'll also split these videos up into, well, just little clips here for the different sections of it, especially for the miners metrics we go over monthly. But as always, you guys know the drill here, not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. I'm invested in finding coins and companies for full disclosure, as always. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. So let's take a look at what's going on in the markets here. On the market side of things, we can see here that the S&P was actually up today 0.98%. Dow Jones was up 0.47%. NASDAQ was actually down 0.58%. Bitcoin is down currently about a 1.45%. It's got about 6 minutes left on the day before it changes over to the new day. So we are at right now 26,828. RSI has come down quite nicely here. If we look at the daily lines and the weekly lines, we can see that we have obviously been, we got rejected at the 20-day moving average, which is our yellow line here. We'll see if we can come down again to our, I believe this is the 50, no, it's 50 is the teal. The 200 daily moving average is, 200 weekly moving average is the red line, sorry. And then our 200 daily moving average line is our blue line over here. So I'm guessing we're probably going to be bouncing off of the 200 weekly moving average if we come down this far. And if that doesn't hold, we're going down to the 25,000 range, which is going to be at the 200 daily moving average. Okay, so that's how those things are stacking up right now. On the 4-hour chart, we can see that the RSI has come down to about 40. Last time we were at this range was back here. Price was actually a little bit higher at that point. And if we go far enough back, it was actually lower at that point. But we're still seeing a downward trend happening here on the 4-hour chart. 1-hour chart, we can see here that we actually went down below the 30 line here on it at 29. Last time we were back here on it, price was higher. Look at the RSI right now, we're at 40. Last time we were back here, so we're kind of flat on it as it is. Up a little bit higher on that one, so we're still trending downwards as it is on that one. Go back enough further back, we're up on price, but we're lower now. So I think the downtrend is going to continue going forward until we finally hit the bottom where we need to bottom out, maybe between 23,000 and 25,000 before we have a nice rally going back up. This might take a long time, might take a couple weeks, a couple months through the summer. And then hopefully in the springtime, or the springtime, fall time, we'll start bouncing back up and getting into a little bit higher values for Bitcoin. I'm guessing probably, like I said before, probably around 40,000 maybe by the end of the year if all things go as well. But we'll see. Okay, Ethereum, same story here, is down 0.66% on the day right now. And it is actually bouncing off of the 20-day moving average, which is kind of nice to see on that one, where Bitcoin is being rejected by it. And we'll see where Ethereum goes to right now. But it's at 1,161. Now, as far as the miners are concerned, we'll take a look at those next here. We'll see that Any was down 1.42% on the day. Argo was down 2.5 or up 2.5%. BitDigital was down 5.9%. Bitfarms was up 0.83%. Cipher was down 0.79%. Cleanspark was up 0.7%. It was up a little bit higher during the day. It was around 4% at the most, I think, and then just kind of crashed down towards the end of the trading day. Cores was down 1.88% today. Digihost was up 0.66%. DMG was down 0.8%. Greenage was down 5.51%. Hive was down Hive was up 1.23%. Hut was flat on the day, $2.16. Iris Energy was up 0.28%, sorry. Marathon was up 2.04%. Mawson was up 0.08%. Riot was up 3.42%. And they were, so actually it was Soluna that was up 10.18%. I thought it was Riot. I must have viewed that incorrectly. And then Stronghold was down 3.67%. TerraWolf was up 0.67% on the day as it is. Okay, so let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick, see what's going on there. And we can see here that the network hash rate is currently at 375 million on the 7-day average. If we look at the 1-day average, we've actually come down here on it to 349 million on that one. Okay, so that's it for the miners, Bitcoin, and the stock market. Let's take a look at our first story here, which is going to be on Cleanspark. So Cleanspark is at it again, like I said. They're buying 12,500 Antminers S19 XP Bitcoin miners for 40.5 million. And here are the details. So Cleanspark today announced a purchase of 12,500 brand new units of the Antminer S19 XP Bitcoin mining machine for a total price of $40.5 million or $23 per terahash, which is really a good price for those, which is lower than the current average market price. So that's a great deal there. The M-Miners 19XP units have a power efficiency rating of 21.5 joules per terahash and Bitcoin mining compute power or hash rate of 141 terahashes per second, each for a combined total hash rate of 1.76 exahash per second. So it's a nice increase there. That's definitely going to get them above the 15.9 where they are now. Well, this would probably get them closer to 17 or 16, somewhere around there. No, it's going to get them to 17 something if they leave everything that's installed currently and add these miners to their fleet as well. But they do state something here about possibly getting rid of some of the older miners here. But according to the purchase agreement, 6,000 of the 12,500 machines are scheduled to be shipped by the manufacturer in June, while the remaining 6,500 machines are set for shipment in August. So they'll get a nice increase here possibly in June if they get those installed, depending when they get shipped in June. So if they get shipped in June, they might not get into actually their facility until July potentially. So July might be a nice little month there where they have a nice little increase. The units are expected to be deployed across the company's state-of-the-art mining facilities, and this purchase ensures that we are prepared to meet and potentially exceed our year-end target of 16 exahash and also position us to be one of the most powerful efficient miners on an energy per hash rate basis, said Zach Bradford, CEO. The additional machines purchase also gives us a substantial optionality to replace the units in our existing fleet that consume more than 30 joules per terahash, while allowing us to maintain less efficient machines only if the economics support doing so. So basically what they're saying there, if right around the halving event, depending on where the price of Bitcoin is at, if the machines that are more than 30 joules per terahash, if they're not cutting it, they can basically take those out or sell them or do whatever they got to do with them. But that was it here. And then importantly, we've already fully funded and paid for the first half of this purchase, or approximately 6,650 machines, most of which are expected to ship next month. So that's good news there as well. I think that's all we have here for it. We do. And I tweeted about this today, just doing some back of the napkin math here. So I tweeted, Cleanspark buys again 12.5 S19XPs. This would get them to 17.6 exahash with everything that they have scheduled to be delivered. However, they have stated of possibly removing some older miners. They do have approximately 12.8 thousand miners that are below the 100 terahash accounting for approximately 1.16 exahash, meaning that if they get rid of those and install the new miners, they'll get to 16.44, which is still above their guidance of 16 exahash by the end of the year. So we're on track there. So let's take a look at what we actually have for Cleanspark here really quick, as far as which miners could possibly be removed. So when they're saying the less efficient or least efficient miners, they're talking about the ones that are below 100 terahash, I'm guessing. We do have a couple of those. We have some 98 terahash miners over here. We got some 96, 88 terahash miners as well. Over here, we got some 86 as well. And we got some 95s here. So those are the ones that are calculated basically on what they could possibly remove if they choose to do so, if they're just not economically viable to operate. Okay, so that's kind of the way the math is going to work out. We'll see how things progress, obviously, towards the end of the year, and then to next year when we get closer to the halving event where Bitcoin's at, and we can probably see if they're profitable or not. You can see here that the 88 terahash machines are only generating right now in May. They're generating $6.20 right now, compared to some of the more efficient miners like the 100 terahash. Those are at $7.05 right now. And let me see here. I don't think they have any 140. Oh, they do have 40. So they got some 140 terahash miners. Those are at $9.87. So pretty big difference there. Okay, that's how things stack up for them. So that's Cleanspark there. Let's take a look at our next story here, which is on Digihost. So Digihost provides their operational update for the month of May. And here's what we have. Monthly production highlights for May. So they mined approximately 101 BTC. Of the 101 BTC mined, approximately 77 were self-mined, and the remainder under joint venture hosting partnerships. So those might be getting reported as assets instead of income or revenue. And then production of the BTC mined is expected to continue to ramp up over the remainder of the year as the company finalizes the infrastructure setup at its most recently acquired site. Infrastructure installation has been completed at the company's other two sites. So that's good news there. The company held cash, BTC, and cash deposits of approximately 2.7 million as of May 31st, which is pretty much on par where it was on April, at the end of April as well. So that's good. And then consistent with management's ongoing commitment to avoid equity dilution for its shareholders, the company has continued to monetize a portion of its BTC production to fully fund its energy costs. They obviously don't provide how much they actually sold of that Bitcoin. So we're kind of guessing on those numbers when we look at the spreadsheet for them. The company did not purchase or sell any miners during the month, so that was okay. And then operational updates. As a result of the company's recent site acquisition in Q1 2023, Digihost's consolidated operating capacity across its 3 sites has increased to approximately 100 megawatts, representing approximately 2 exahash of computing power. The company projects that the total capacity will be fully deployed by the end of Q3 2023. So that's only now, 4 months away. So that'll be a nice little bump there potentially for them as well. Okay, so that's what we have for them here. Let's take a look at the numbers that they represent. So when we look at Digihost right now, they got about 28.5 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $1.52. Market cap is about 43 million. They are one of the smaller miners here, along with DMG and Sphere 3D right now. They are at 913 petahash installed. They didn't provide that information. I'm guessing that's where they're at because they didn't provide any updates on it. Future hash rate right now that I have them at is at 1.1. We'll see if they purchase anything to get to the 2 exahash fully installed, or if they're going to be doing hosting as well on that one. And then, so they're approximately 79.8% operational right now. And let's see here. Bitcoin HODL, I'm guessing 19.28, somewhere around there. That gives us 530,000 in value. Plus, if they have cash and things like that, that could pay them to the 2.1 million, whatever it was for that amount. BTC production here, you can see from last year of June, it has been going up and down, kind of like a little roller coaster ride. You can see here that with the network hash rate increasing, the production has been coming down without adding more miners. That's going to be always the impact on them. But it has increased here nicely to 77, and that's mostly, well, not mostly. The big contribution to it in May was obviously the network fees. Network fees are contributing a lot, about 20-30% depending on the miner, to their bottom line, basically to their added revenue here. So that's why they had a nice increase there. Considering that they didn't install any more miners, network hash rate has increased, but yet they were able to produce more BTC, and that's based on the network hash rate, not the network transaction fees. Okay, you guys can take a look at these over here, monthly differences. So they mined 16 more, and like I said, that's based on the transaction fees. And their BTC per exahash efficiency has gone up to 84.33, which is good, which is going to be kind of in line with where the other miners are going to be at also. That has increased, but normally we've seen that coming down, and the reason for the increase here is the transaction fees as well. Okay, Bitcoin HODL, you can see here, kind of estimating here 19, like I said, Bitcoin sold. I'm guessing that they're selling majority of it, if not all, partially of it. We'll probably get an update on what they actually HODL when they report on Q2 results, I'm guessing. And that time we'll take a look at it. Other metrics here, you guys can take a look at those. Those we've talked about those in the past here. Hash rate has stayed the same here. Bitcoin mined revenue has increased as well, and that's mostly driven by the transaction fees. Let's see here, hash rate difference, no, nothing installed. Bitcoin sold value, you can see that as well, basically what they generated. Okay, now going down here, we know that they didn't install any miners or anything like that, so they were operating based on the numbers they provided here of 77 Bitcoins for basically their part. They generated about 2.1 million in revenue, I'm guessing, based on the average Bitcoin price for May. And looking at May here, I had to actually add 67,000 to that for the numbers to work out. And the reason for that is because of the increase in the network transaction fees. That is having an impact on the way my calculations run here. So I'm calculating it based on the 6.25 Bitcoins that are being rewarded to the miners right now, based on their hash rate and things like that. We get 900 Bitcoins roughly a day given out to the miners for securing the network. And based on my calculations, they were running for 31 days. They might have been running for a little bit less. They didn't report that. And the only way to get them to the 2.1 million is I had to add 67,000 basically for transaction fees. Okay, so that's kind of how that worked out. So you guys are aware of that. And then let's see, what else do we have here? I think that's it for that. Over here, we can see here that institution-wise, we can see that institutions did increase a little bit here to 26 institutions, but shares stayed, well, shares actually went up a little bit here to 2.35 million instead of 2.33 million. So that is an increase of 8.24%. We still don't have a buy rating or sell rating, anything like that, or a price target for them from analysts or anything like that. So that's still the same. Now, given that they are at $1.52 right now, I have them at PE of 5, pretty low, right? And that's based on the last 3 quarters that we have information for in the current quarter that we're in, which is an estimated one. Total combined revenue for the current and last 3 quarters is going to be about 19 million. 50% net income from gross revenue. We're looking at $1.67 at PE of 5. Could they fetch a little higher than that? They possibly could get to 7 and 8, maybe even a 10. Obviously, if Bitcoin starts going up nicely, they could definitely fetch more than that. But we're looking at somewhere between $3.34 and $1.67 is where I think they should be kind of valued at. So they are kind of a little bit undervalued right now from where they should be, based on my data here. All right. Let me know what you guys think of all this, and then we'll talk some more in the comments. Okay, so that's it for Digihost. Let's take a look at the next one, which is going to be on Cipher, I believe. So Cipher mining announces May 2023 operational update. They had also a really good month here as far as mining is concerned. A lot of miners are going to have a great month because of the transaction fees. So here's the key highlights. BTC mined was 493. BTC sold 513, so they actually sold more than they mined. BTC held was 407. Deployed fleet of roughly 59,000 miners and operating hash rate that's theirs. That's based on the Odessa facility and the 3 other sites that they have as a joint venture. They have about 1 exahash there, so that's how they get to the 6 exahash for that. Management commentary here. We can see here we are delighted to announce we achieved record production during the month of May, said Tyler Page, CEO. We now have over 5 exahash of self-mining operations at our Odessa facility and approximately 1 exahash of self-mining across our other 3 sites. This record production reflects not only the first full month of our operations with 6 exahash of capacity, but also the sharp increase in transaction fees that we saw during the month. So you're going to see that number also being affected there, where I have to plug in an added revenue stream basically for the transaction fees to make my numbers work. Okay, we are also pleased to announce that the first 3,120 Canon rigs have already shipped, and we plan to have this site ready to accommodate them upon arrival. We are well on track to deliver on our goal of 7.2 exahash by the end of Q3. So that's really good. So they're only about, like I said, 4 months away from end of that. So that should be getting miners in here relatively shortly. Okay, let's see what else do we have here. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. So let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them. And then we'll get into the last one, which is going to be on Bitfarms. So let's see, your Cipher is right here. Okay. So Cipher right now, 248 million shares outstanding. Stock price is at $2.52. Market cap is at 627 million right now. Current hash rate is about 5, and that's, I'm using the Odessa facility for that. Future hash rate is supposed to be 7.25. They are pretty close to that. If we use the 6 exahash, they're only about 1.2 exahash away from that, so not too bad. To get there, currently I'm showing 69% operational. They're operational a little higher than that right now as it is. And let's see here, BTC HODL is 407 Bitcoin. That's valued about 11.1 million right now. And you guys can see here as far as BTC HODL value or percentage compared to the market cap, hash rate left, BTC HODL, how much they sold, all that. BTC production, nice increase here in production. Yes, this was a full month where they had all the miners plugged in for the full month. That helped out. And then also the network transaction fees helped out greatly, and the rewards as well. BTC mined month-over-month difference, so definitely 87 more Bitcoins mined this month instead of last month, so that's good there. BTC per exahash efficiency was 82.2, so that was pretty good there as well. And then BTC HODL, you can see here, it has peaked in February at 465 and then has come down here every month since then. You can see how much they've sold here as far as Bitcoin is concerned. Definitely this month being, May month being the most that they've sold here recently or at all. Okay, so that's those numbers. If we look at hash rate and revenue part of the things here, we can see here that they started out basically in December at 2.8, and they had a nice increase here through April, getting to about 6 exahash fully, excuse me, being fully installed for their self-mining portion of things. And then the value of revenue that they generated for that has increased steadily as well and nicely here, from November of 1.69 million all the way to 13.5 million. So nice growth there. And obviously the stock is being rewarded for it as it is right now. Hash rate difference from month to month as far as how much was being installed. You can see here in May they didn't install anything. BTC sold value, they actually sold 14.1 million here compared to 13.5 million in revenue. So they are probably paying some stuff down. And we can see here the last 4 quarters revenue. Q4 was only 3 million. Q1 was 21.8, almost 22 million. This current quarter estimated right now is about 31.7, so around 32 million. Then you can see their operating costs have also been increasing as they get more miners installed, which is going to obviously cost more in electricity and things like that. You guys can take a look at these charts here. We've gone over those before, and we usually do those at the quarterly time when we get those results. As far as institutions are concerned, those actually decreased a little bit here. At least institutions' numbers decreased to 104. Number of shares actually went up a little bit here by 20,000 shares, but still the same percentage-wise. We still have the same buy rating or strong buy rating of 1, buy rating of 3, 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sell, and the price target actually is still $4, $3.50, and $3 for the high, average, and low. And when we look at the raw data here, this is what I'm trying to point out to you guys, the effect of the network fees has on added revenue for the miners. So with all of these miners here, actually, let me see here, 13.557. I should probably change this to 31. I believe that would make more sense. I don't know why I forgot to do that. So 31 there. And then let's see here. We want to change this number because they were at 13.5. Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly here, 13.557. So that's going to decrease us by about 310,000. That's if the miners were running for the whole, obviously, month here. 557, so that's going to be 313. That was close. Okay, 13,557 is where we want to be. So 313,000 extra from the transaction fees. Now that's given that the miners were running the full time for the month. They didn't have any curtailment, which I don't know. They didn't provide that. And obviously this transaction fees are kind of messing with my numbers on that part. So here's what we have as far as Odessa. Odessa was at approximately 5 exahash. Alvarez, Bear, and Chief are about 1.9 exahash, about almost 2 exahash there. About 49% of that is for their own mining. So that's where we get a total of, over here, that's owned 5.9. That's basically 6 exahash that they have right now. So that's kind of how I'm calculating all these things. I'm only using the revenue from Odessa only because the other ones are being reported as assets. They're not being reported as revenue from these. So Odessa is 11.47 million roughly. This is going to be tricky with the transaction fees. I keep saying transaction fees, but it's going to definitely have an effect on how close I am to my numbers here. I was only off by 1.34% for Q1, which is kind of nice where I want to be. I want to be, within 2.5% up or down. But we'll see how close I get to that with transaction fees having an impact on the miners. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. Looking at my estimates here, last 3 quarters we're at 26.9 million. The current quarter is an estimate of 31.7 million. We'll see where we get. Combined total right now is an estimate of 58.7 million. 50% net income, we're looking at $2.36 to $3.54. I do think they are a little bit undervalued if you look at the 75% income. But if you look at the 50% net income part of things, they are a little overvalued, I think. And that's with a PE of 20 right now. They still have a little bit of growth left, but investors are seemingly liking them right now, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, giving them a 20 PE ratio instead of a 15. If we bump them down to 15, well, then they're definitely overvalued. And I do think they're overvalued a little bit based on their current growth and future growth potential right now. Okay? But if Bitcoin starts going up in value, this obviously is going to have an impact on their net income. So 75% would be in play. At that point, they are undervalued. Okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions on this. Definitely comment down in the comments down below. Okay, so that's it for Cipher. Let's take a look at our last one here, which is Bitfarms. We'll call it a day. And I have to cough here. Sorry, had to clear my throat. Okay, Bitfarms, production update for May 2023. During May 2023, our increased visibility into deliveries and installations in Rio Cuarto, Argentina led us to accelerate our organic growth target of 6 exahash from the end of Q4 to the end of Q3. This is good. This is what Geoff Murphy said. Gosh, I can't talk. My throat's starting to get dry. Ben Gengen, Chief Mining Officer of Bitfarms, said in May, BTC production increased 6.5% year over year, largely due to a temporary spike in BTC transaction fees. Right, everybody's kind of mentioning it here. A 47% year over year increase in our hash rate was offset by a 65% increase in network difficulty. In the same period, on a sequential month-over-month basis, our corporate hash rate held steady with 5 exahash of the 6,200 miners ordered in April. 2,900 arrived in Argentina in May as expected, and the remaining 3,300 are en route. So that's good there. So with the average BTC price of 27,500 in May. We continue to be cash flow positive, both from operations and after scheduled interest and principal payments. So that's good there. And then here's the updates for their mining. Total BTC mined was 459, which was a nice increase for the year from 379. Month ending operating hash rate is still 5 exahash. Their average BTC average exahash was per exahash was 93. Operating capacity was 196 megawatts. Hydropower was 178 watts terahash efficiency. 39 BTC sold was 414. So they sold less than they generated. We covered that. 5 exahash 4.9 was then 96 on average. We covered that as well. Let's see here. Bitfarms BTC monthly production update. You can see what they mined here so far this year and what they mined in 2022. So that's good there. And then they also reduced total outstanding indebtedness by 1.8 million, leaving a balance of 17.4 million at the end of May 31st. So that's good there as well. And they added 45 Bitcoin to their treasury. Okay. Let's take a look at my numbers here and we'll call it a day. Let's see here. Bitfarms is over here. Too many miners. Okay. So Bitfarms has 240 million shares outstanding right now. Stock price is $1.21. Market cap is about 290 million right now. Current hash rate, 5 exahash. Future hash rate is supposed to be about 7.2, depending on which miners they get rid of or whatnot. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Hodl position is 510 BTC. Was that correct? 510? Yeah, 510. Okay. Just double checking myself. That's valued at about 14 million right now. So they do have plenty of coins and cash on hand right now. So they're in good shape. BTC production, you can see here, was kind of all over the place here depending on the month. Their best month here so far was in August of last year, 534 Bitcoins. Then it went down, up, down. In February was 387, which was probably, well, it wasn't their worst. April was their worst, 379 in that month. But they've obviously increased here to 459, which is good to see. And you can see here the increase by about 80 Bitcoins for the month compared to April, which was good. And then their hodl position is 510, has been growing here slightly. Ever since December of last year, they bottomed at 405. January was 405. February, 405. 435 in March. 465 in April. So that's been starting to grow a little bit here. I think they're starting to grow their stack a little bit more as we get closer to the halving event, possibly. Don't know that for sure, but that's kind of the trend line that we're seeing right now. Bitcoin per BTC per exahash efficiency has gone up to 91.8. They've usually been pretty good as far as efficiency-wise. They're usually in the top 3, top 5 for efficiency is concerned. So it's nice to see that they got up to about 91.8. And you can see how much they've been selling here for Bitcoin, and that's been kind of averaging between 400 some and 300 some. Their biggest sale was obviously last June, 3,351. Everybody was hurting at that point. They had loans, debt, things they needed to pay off, and they got the job done by actually having to sell Bitcoin at a pretty low price, unfortunately, but it wasn't as low as it was in December. So better to have done it in June than they did it in like in November, December when Bitcoin was at 15,000. So that was good there. Hash rate has obviously paused a little bit here in May as it was in April, but they have had steady growth here ever since last year. And even prior to that, they've been growing consistently here, which is always nice to see. Their revenue here as well has been kind of up and down depending on the month, how much they produce and everything else. But overall, it is on the upside here, and it is up to 12.6 million. Compared to the prior high, which was in August of 11.94 million. So that's good there. Hash rate difference, you can see how much they've been installing here. Bitcoin sold value, this is how much they've been selling, about 11.38 million they sold in the month of May right now, which is kind of in line with what they've been selling, about 10 million or so for the last couple of months. Let's see, that's for quarter operating costs. We've covered that before. Other metrics, we've covered that as well. As far as analysts are concerned, institutions did decrease to 102 from 112. Shares also decreased, surprisingly, to 31.6 million from 37 million. That's owned by institutions now 14.5% instead of 17. We still have one buy rating for them. No hold, no underperform, no sell. But price targets actually increased where the high went to $2, average went to $2, and low went to $2 as well from $1.48. So that's at least good there. Analysts are seeing that they are possibly undervalued right now, as it is. Okay, so with them, like the other miners as well, we got up to 12.62 million in revenue here for the month of May, it looks like. And based on the numbers, I had to add to them also, I believe, 617,000 in extra added revenue based on all of these miners running here the full time to 12.62 million. Okay, so we had to add 617,000 in transaction fees, basically, to get to that number to make it all sense. So that was definitely a huge improvement for them, a nice bonus for them and for all the miners actually. And looking at the numbers that we do have here, if we go back, last 3 quarters is about 89.2 million. This current quarter is estimated about 34.2 million. So we're looking at a combined total of 123.4 million. 50% net income from gross revenue. I have them at a P of 10, which is pretty low, right? I have others at 15 and 20. They should be about $2.57 in my opinion. If we get them up a little bit higher to the 15, they have a little bit of growth left. I'd love to see them come out and say, hey, we're going to be growing by the end of the year, or by the end of the first quarter of next year, we're going to be growing to 8, 10 exahash, something like that. I think the stock would definitely take off then. But right now, we just have a little bit of growth left with them. Okay, so we're looking at $3.85 right now. They're $1.21. Definitely undervalued in my opinion. And then if we use the 75% net income, we're looking at $5.78. So definitely undervalued in that. And as like I said before, Bitcoin goes up. These guys go up as well, as all miners go up in value at that time. Okay, so that is all of it. Let me know what you guys think of all of this stuff. As always, these... No, wrong one. Where was it? Here. So this is the one I wanted to do. Not that one. Oh, I got too many buttons. There we go. So as always, these spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members, and I'm tremendously grateful to all their support there. And thank you to everyone there. Also, I'll provide the printouts of these, the miners at least, for Bitfarms, Cipher, and Digihost to the YouTube members as well. I'll get those out later on today or tomorrow sometime. So that's all going to be available to you guys. And then, like I said, let me know what you guys think of all this stuff. A lot of data here. It's kind of nice to see that Bitfarms is like clockwork. They're always like one of the first ones to provide their information. Cipher has become the same way now, which is nice to see. Digihost has improved greatly. They used to be kind of way behind things, but it's always nice to see when miners have all their data readily available. So that's good to see. So hopefully other miners learn from them as well. And we'll see what comes tomorrow. But like I said, let me know what you guys think of all of this. I'll definitely be in the comments tonight, probably tomorrow a little bit, talking to you guys there as well. So I think that's it. I'm starting to ramble on. Yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.